It is so great to meet you. I have been watching Criminal Minds since I was 11. So
Yay!
this is like a full circle moment. It's like my favorite entire show in the entire world. And I feel like we all already know you guys because we've been watching you guys for so long and like we're like in there with you. So it's like we've already met, but obviously we haven't. So, so this takes me, I have to ask, has there been a particular case that has impacted you the most over the history of Criminal Minds?
Oh, what a question. Has there been a particular case? I can't say that the most impactful thing that happened with Criminal Minds case wise was when I joined the show in 2006. Were you even born?
I was born in 94.
Oh, you were born. Okay. When I joined the show, I got all of the actual FBI manuals that they train agents with, which no civilian should have. Only people actually training to be agents should get those books. Um, and it made me completely paranoid. And for months after joining the show, I would be in an airport and I would look around and think, "Oh, that guy's a serial killer. I know it. That kid is not that lady's kid." I became it's called hyper vigilant, and I fortified my house. I put in bulletproof glass everywhere. I really spun out a little bit because I had access to too much information about terrible stuff. And so once you sort, and it happened to everyone else in the cast. Everyone else admitted over the years, "Oh yeah, I did that. That happened to me too." You start to come back to sort of more normal thinking, and then you now we just laugh all the time on set. So we're dealing with like this horrible stuff. And when the crime scene photos come up, we all go, "Oh, that one's juicy." Oh, but it's the way that you normalize it so that it doesn't break you down all the time because it is dark material. So I hope that answers your question. I can't think of a single case where I couldn't sleep for weeks or anything. It really was just the beginning of joining the show.
That's like so cool to like know, but me myself, I'm really paranoid too, and I do not like to have the sliding glass windows open because of all of the serial killer
You
shows.
can't.
You
You
can't.
can't
You
have the
just
sliding
can't.
glass.
You can't, no matter how hot it is. Now, I do have to ask, if you could bring only one, you can only pick one legacy character back to future seasons, who would it be?
I mean, I'm partial to Matthew Gray Gubler. It would be Dr. Reed. I
Oh,
mean, yeah, he got ordained so that he could marry me and my husband. He's our pastor, I guess. I mean, um, but he's doing great things, and unless something's happened that I don't know about, I don't think he's coming back for season three. But we never know. We just never know. He's a mercurial, wacky little artist. That guy. He's writing New York Times bestselling children's books, and he's got some things in the works that I'm not allowed to say, but he's a really creative, funny, brilliant guy. And I miss Dr. Reed. I miss what his place was on the team. Um,
me too. And I love that, like, I would pinpoint, and the fans would, every like other episode, he would have a different colored cardigan. And it became a thing where people on Twitter would be like, what color cardigan is Reed wearing in this week's episode? So I definitely missed that. Now, if you could cross Criminal Minds over into any show like a CSI, a Law and Order, or any show, it doesn't even have to be crime related, what would you pick?
what a crazy question. Crossover. I mean, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. If you took Game of Thrones and then Criminal Minds like went through a time portal and had to solve all of the murders going on in the Game of Thrones world or any like medieval population, that would be hilarious to me. But no one's going to make that show. Do you have any ideas? What would you cross it with?
I mean, I would love to see it like an SVU crossover because I love Detective
Oh,
Benson. So I
I
would love to
love,
see
I
like
know.
them crossover, but then like I would love to see it like cartoonized with like SpongeBob somehow. I don't know. That would make
See, that could happen. It's animated. That could happen. Is SpongeBob still on?
yes, they're
It's got
like
to be, right? Oh,
two
they're
like
going to do a
different
movie.
formats. Yes, there's also a Sandy Cheeks movie coming out too. So
That's
SpongeBob
right.
is
Okay.
still alive. It's different to like when I was like growing up, but it's still there. So I love me some SpongeBob.
I love that idea. We could never do a crossover with SVU though, because technically it's directly competition because it's
Yeah.
NBC, Universal. So we couldn't. But I love Mariska. I did 3 guest spots on SVU with her. The first one was her and Chris Maloney, and I love those guys. They're so much fun. They're just great. I
Yeah, I
think
need to go
SVU
find
is
those
brilliant.
episodes.
They're old.
Now, this is kind of like, so you've been, Emily for a while now, and what is it like, holding on to that character and seeing how she's changed over time?
It's lucky. I'm lucky, and I have immense gratitude that I'm doing it still because I would be heartbroken if I hadn't returned to
Me
CBS.
too.
And if I wasn't a part of evolution, I would be heartbroken. I would be a bitter old cat lady. I don't know if I would have was I married? I might have been married. I don't know. I'm just so lucky that I get to keep doing it. And I think I'm pretty good at it. The fans say I'm good at it. And they would always ask when I wasn't on the show, they were saying, why aren't you on Criminal Minds? And after a few years, I same here. I thought, why aren't I on Criminal Minds? I should be on Criminal and called them and asked them if they'd take me back. And so I'm glad I made that decision. I love this show and I love this new show because it is kind of different. Evolution is kind of CBS and kind of something else, and they've given us so much room to try new things and write. Our writers get to write differently, and we get to shoot differently, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I love that it's different. Like even from like the lighting, the way it's filmed, and just all of the little elements. Like we still love it because we see stuff from like the original, but it's like refreshing. Also, this time I know some of the cast members directed episodes as
Oh
well.
yeah.
What was that like having co-stars direct episodes?
Listen, it could be a recipe for disaster. I guarantee you. Everyone thinks I don't want to direct. Everyone thinks they can direct. They cannot. Our cast is so good and they're in a safe environment. It's a show that they've done for years. So they know that they can trust the crew and the writers and lighting and wardrobe. They know they're in a safe environment, but it's a very hard show to direct. And I've been consistently amazed at how well they do that they're confident and they're able to ask for help or suggestions. They're not dictators. They're not tyrants. They're not trying to prove anything. They're not, actorly actors. They really love directing and they give everything to it. And it's really inspiring to see. And I trust them as people and as actors and as directors. So we're really lucky because you can get that put in your deal if you're on a show for long enough. You can say, okay, but I need to direct, but that doesn't mean you're going to be any good at it. So thank God our people are good at it. I mean, they're great at it.